Hey guys, welcome to the top percentile. My name is Anay Dave and I scored a 99.99 percentile in CD 2020. Today we'll be talking about what is better, whether you should be looking at your ranks or the scores that you're scoring in the mocks so far. I'm assuming that because there's less than 2 months left for CAT, you must have started taking mocks. In case you haven't, please start taking mocks. This is high time that you start. The higher number of mocks you take, the more comfortable you'll be with the syllabus and the faster you'll be able to solve questions on the final day. But in case you're someone who's not completed the syllabus, please work on that first. Because taking mocks is only a stepping stone to get better in the paper. But actually getting marks in mocks depends on how much syllabus you've covered. In case you're somebody who's interested in studying faster, we have a top percentile course available, which you can find out on our website. We have a flash sale going on currently. So we have a two months to CET flash sale going on. So head on to our website toppercentile.co.in. You'll find all the discounts over there. You'll come to know what's going on. But back to the topic of the video, we're going to keep this pretty short. I'm going to tell you three main reasons why ranks are better than scores. Now, and also tell you three reasons why just taking ranks and not score is not going to be the best possible pattern right here, or the best possible strategy that you can use here, right? So I'm going to keep this in your court, like you can decide what you want to do, but I will suggest what I had done during my time. So I'll just first list the three reasons, and then I'll tell you my story. So the first is a different variety of mocks. The second is the variability of the final exam pattern and how the exam day is going to be. The third is the admission criteria, right? These are the three main reasons why you should not be focusing on scores and look at ranks instead. I'll explain each of them in detail, but I would first want to just tell you a little bit about how I had prepared during my CET. So I took CET in 2020, and during that time, I'd taken 63 mocks. I had taken IMS, I'd taken Time, I'd taken CET King, and I'd taken Patrick Sir's mocks. So I'd taken 4 mock providers. But a lot of you guys might not know this, but my name in IMS was D. Dave. I don't think I've publicly ever announced or said this in any platform, but my name was D. Dave in those mocks. And I didn't want to keep it Anay Dave because I didn't want people to know that I'm scoring well. Because in my head, I wanted to get the top rank, but also not let that be a factor in my mind that, oh, I'm scoring these many marks. I didn't want that to affect my final day. I didn't want to be overconfident, and I didn't want that to affect me. But in my head, I was very happy that I was scoring the top few ranks. So during the Sim CETs back then, during that period of time, I think I'd scored in the top 10 ranks 5 times out of the 8 mocks that were given, and the top two were top rank 3 or 4 times, I think, out of those 8. But again, just look at how it mattered, right? I got a top, even if I was coming in the top 4 and 5, I got a rank of 9 in the end. Rank 1 is very different and everything is very different. But the idea here, in fact, a fun story about this was that Shreekanth had actually reached out to me before CET had happened. And he'd asked me what score I'm getting in mocks and what the situation was at that time. And I hadn't told him very nicely about what I was scoring because I didn't want to, again, create that impression I'm scoring well and then I'm going to get through CET without actually getting through JBIMS. So I wanted to get that first and then tell everyone that I've got it. So I kind of kept my name different and people didn't know this. A couple of you had assumed this and reached out to me on Telegram and WhatsApp asking if I'm D. Dave. Yeah, that was me. Anyway, back to the topic of this and how you should be using it. So when you look at mocks, when you're looking at the variety of mocks, the first reason, you look at an IMS mock, you look at a CET King mock, you're looking at a very different pattern that they ask. IMS will ask you tough questions, which require a lot of time to solve, while CET King might not have such questions. Patrick Sir's mocks and his questions might have much easier questions, maybe in some mocks, and much tougher questions, CAT level questions sometimes. Each and every mock will have a different variety. There's a maximum score that you can score in that mock. It's better to understand how or what that number is rather than figure out what your score is and assume that 140 is what you're getting through, right? There's a false notion created on YouTube that 140 is what you get through. If you get 140, you get through JBIMS. That's not how it worked. That's not how it has ever worked, unless the cutoff was actually 140. But the idea is to score as high as you can, get a 150, get a 160, and you'll be sorted. Get a 160, that's the safest score because never has a cutoff been higher than that. But the idea here is that in a variety of mocks, the topper is going to be different. The highest score will be different. The top 10 ranks will be different, right? There'll be a different gap between the scores as well. So if you look at ranks rather than looking at the score, you'll be able to gauge much better as to where you stand in comparison with each and every other person that's there, right? The second factor over here would be the exam variability. On the final day, you might have an exam which is much easier or much tougher than what you expect. Let's say on the final day, they ask you something like last year where it's completely jumbled. You are completely new to it. People might not perform as well, but you don't care about what that is, right? You have to score maximum in that particular paper. You don't care if that's a 140 paper or a 150 paper. You want rank 1. That's all you want, right? So aim for rank 1, not for 140. Again, reiterating the same point that we are not looking at a score, we are looking at a rank. And what the mindset that you need to aim for a rank is very different from what you need to get for a score. Because in a rank, you don't know what that goalpost is. You just know you need to do each and every question in the best way possible that you can, right? So we're making this video very early on because you want to instill this mindset in you that you have to be the best and the top ranker that you deserve to be if you put in the hard work required to do this, right? The second reason would be exam variability. A low score might still get you to JBIMS. Maybe a 180 might not get you into JB if the cutoff is 190, right? So that's how it works. Very hypothetical situation, but that's how life is. And that goalpost keeps moving. Don't stick to a score. Go for a rank. Go for a mindset of a rank. Develop that over time. Please stay tuned to our YouTube channel. You'll find a lot more content about mindset, about the prep that you need, and a lot of motivation. We're recording a bunch of videos these days, and we've kept them ready on YouTube. So please stay tuned to our channel. And a third reason for this would be the admission criteria. I've said this time and time again. If you go to JBIMS with a mock score of 200, they are not going to let you in and say that, okay, you can just walk through, you've got 200 marks. A mock score doesn't matter. Even if on the final day you get 180, as I mentioned, if the cutoff is 190, it doesn't matter. It is not a score that you need. You need a top 40 rank. If you're from the general category, there are only 36 seats in JBIMS. If you're an all India general student, then there are only 18 seats for you. You need a 99.99. And you know there are only 15 of those, right? There are only 15 people who get 99.99. Not sure about how the distribution was last year since it wasn't public, but it's a very limited number of seats that you have. Even if you assume only 30 seats, that's it. You have to be in the top 30 ranks of all the mocks you take. Now, having said this, if you're someone who's not in the top ranks, that's perfectly fine. It is not necessary that there is a correlation between ranks and mock scores. This leads me to 3 reasons why ranks are probably not the best, why you need to look at more things, including the score, why it should not just be ranks, right? So I already mentioned this. So if a lot of people who've come through JBIMS this year were people who were not scoring the top ranks in mocks. They used to get around 40, maybe hundreds as well. They used to be in thousands sometimes. I myself have scored in 500s in one of the mocks, in the first IMS mock that I've taken. The first IMS mock I took, it was a complete surprise. I didn't expect it to be that tough. I was completely blown over by it, right? It was like, I was just gone. I saw the paper, I walked out with a headache. I didn't know what to do. And I got a very bad score. That's perfectly fine because you improve that and you work on it. So if you're someone who's not scoring well, just remember that ranks at this stage don't matter, but your final exam rank will matter. So right now it's fine if you're not scoring well, if you're not getting the rank that you want, but work on it and make sure you're keeping the mindset for the rank and not for the score. It's okay to keep a goalpost for a score till an extent that, okay, you want that 140. Once you get a 140, you're like, okay, now I need rank 1. That's fine, but go for it. And I implore each and every one of you to do this. Don't think that मुझे सिर्फ 80 आ रहा है, मैं कैसे 140 जाऊं. करो, अभी करना है. The next 2 months, the next 1.5 months, that's the only time you have to do this. If you waste any time now, it's not going to happen after this. I can give you that in writing. But if you work right now, it's going to be a very easy footing for you. It's going to be very easy after this. So just remember that a high rank need not mean a high score. Likewise, a low rank need not mean that you're not going to do well later, right? Another thing that I want to mention, this is something that's pretty funny actually. The second reason being that there's a lack of strict management when you're working at home. If I'm taking an exam or a mock at home, I can have a book right next to me. Like for example, let's say I have this notebook here. Maybe I have all the formulas written. This is a JP Morgan notebook, but in case I have all the formulas written down in the notebook, I'll be able to refer to it at any given time and see the answers. Maybe I can have the prime numbers or any kind of thing written next to me which helps me answer questions faster. If I have that there, if I have a formula sheet next to me, I'm scoring a fake score that I will not get in the paper. In fact, to take this further, there were guys when Shreekanth and I were taking mocks, we had seen one guy who was scoring 170 when we were scoring 130s. And in the CD King platform, you can compare exact marks. You can compare exact questions that they've scored faster. And we had done this, and we noticed that he was solving puzzles in around, I think, a minute or 30 seconds. And we used to wonder, how does he solve 5 questions in 30 seconds and go ahead? So one of these days, we asked him on the group that, we had this separate group for students who are scoring well. And I asked him on that group that, how do you do this? That he mentioned that he used to disconnect his internet, score marks, and then go ahead with things. Like, that's what he used to do. So if you disconnect your internet, the platform used to pause the timer rather than continue forward. So people cheat in a lot of ways, and it's not a perfect representation of your marks. So even if you've got rank 1, but if you've cheated, you cannot compare that person to you. So that's why it's always good in IMS when you see the top 10 list rather than seeing only the top person is scored. You want the distribution of scores to average and normalize it, right? That's why you're looking at a top 10 rank, but you're also comparing score with it. If rank 1 has 170 and rank 2 has 140, and then rank 3, 4, 5 is around 130, that means the true score in that mock is probably 140, unless somebody like Shreekanth Merugu has taken the mock and scored 170. That's a different story altogether, and you cannot compete with him. But in case someone's scoring a much higher score, it's a reason to be aware of it, and it's a red flag that you can flag, and keep in mind that maybe this is not the real score. So that's the second thing, that there is lack of proper management, because I can cheat in a lot of ways, right? The third thing, I have already mentioned this, but the reason you want to look at ranks and also keep a focus on score is because you don't want to be overconfident. If I'm scoring rank 1 and I'm scoring a score of, let's say, 120, maybe I'm doing it because everyone else is not able to score right now. And maybe there are 2 months left, people are going to improve. I have to make sure that my improvement is happening at a faster pace than their improvement is, because I want to score rank 1 at the end of the exam. I don't want to be 1 right now. It doesn't matter if I'm 1 or if I'm 10 or 100 or 1000. I want to be rank 1 at the end of this. How do I be rank 1 at the end of the exam? At the end of the CET exam, I want to be rank 1. How do I make sure I'm doing that? By removing overconfidence completely, right? If I add score to it, maybe I'm getting 120 and I'm rank 1, but maybe the maximum possible score in that mock is 150. That gap is what I have to cover, and to cover this gap, we've made a video on mock analysis. If you've not watched that video, I implore you to watch it. So I think it's a 2-hour long video, and we've explained in depth how to go about things. And if you don't have time, we have timestamps in the description. You can use that. We also have a much shorter version that Harsh has made recently about how to analyze mocks. Please utilize these resources. We have answered each and every question that you guys repeatedly ask us. We are just reformatting it and putting in better ways so that you get the answers in easier format. But please understand that everything's available. Just go through our videos, you'll find all the content. If you're a serious aspirant, this is the best place to be. Please study as hard as you can and use our videos to your best benefit. All the best for your prep, but just keep in mind that this is how you need to be looking at your mocks and your ranks and your scores. Please keep taking mocks. This is the most important time period. We're here to help you through this. We'll be there to guide you throughout this entire time. 6 of us, all of us are there. We'll be here guiding you. But all the best for your prep. If you have any questions, please leave it in the description. Please leave it in the comments below. I am the one who reads the comments and responds to them. So please just keep it going. I means many times you've seen Harsh answer it, Aditya answers. All of us are answering from our personal accounts so that we can help you guys out. Each one of us does this. Vidhan, Shreekanth, Ankit, we all take lives as well. So please stay tuned to our channel. Stay tuned to everything that we do. Please know that we are there for you. We'll be there to help you, guide you through the next few months of your prep. So all the best for this. But just keep in mind what measure you are seeing and why you are seeing, right? So in summary, I would always say look at ranks, but keep in mind that score is also important when you're trying to improve your score, when you're trying to improve the stance that you have, and when you're trying to get a better contextual image. But go for rank 1. If you put in the hard work, there is no reason you can't get it. That's how I'd like to end today's session. Thank you guys for watching this. I'm sorry if I blabbered on and it became too long, but I really appreciate you guys for sticking around and for watching our videos over the last 2 years. It's been wonderful helping you guys and mentoring you through this. But all the best and see you on the other side. Thank you.